Is a long distance relationship worth it? Absolutely not. Just kidding. Yes, they are definitely worth it. It's really difficult. They're extremely difficult, but they are worth it. So let's get into the pros and cons of a long distance relationship. Let's talk about whether or not it's worth it, how to get through it, my tips. And if you're wondering what credibility I have on this topic, I was in a long distance relationship for 5 whole years, you guys. And we made it. We got married last August and things are going well. So I'm here to tell you that yes, it's possible. Yes, it's worth it. So let's get into it. Let's start with the cons. We'll start with the negative and then we'll leave the good part for the end. So cons, you have to think about whether or not there's going to be a time difference. In my case, we had a 9-hour time difference, you guys. So basically, when I was waking up, he had already gone through his entire day and was already close to getting ready for bed. So time difference, first thing to consider. Second, a super obvious one, obviously the distance. How far is your partner gonna be from you? Is it just a bus ride away, a train ride away? Or is he just, you know, in another state, another city? Or is he across the country? Or is he in an entire other continent? Like in my case, I'm in the US, he was in Spain. So that is another thing to consider. Number 3, you miss out on a lot of events, special events. I don't know about you. I mean, if you have a ton of money and a ton of time to fly or, you know, go however far you need to go to be able to make it to every single event, that's great. But for the most part, I feel like most of us have, you know, we have to work. We don't have all the money to spend to go to every single special life event that your partner has. So another thing to consider. Guys, long distance relationships are kind of expensive. You spend a ton of money on travel. I spent so much money on airplane tickets. That's probably the biggest expense, airplane tickets. Also, if you want to send your partner like a gift via mail, I mean, if he were to live in the United States, it would have been cheaper. But to mail things over there, crazy. I think I spent, like, for his birthday, the very first time I sent him something, I spent over $400 trying to get it to him. And it goes through like aduanas, this whole process. Sometimes they hold the items and it's a whole thing. So you'll spend money on packages. You know, you want to do a cute little care package, decorate the box. You have to spend money to mail it out, however far it is. Guys, long distance relationships can be very emotionally, mentally exhausting. It takes a lot of willpower to not let the distance make you sad, depressed, or anxious. So you have to consider that factor, that you need to be strong mentally to be able to sustain a long distance relationship. I, for example, had to get a counselor to be able to deal with the whole situation, the whole long distance, because it's a lot. It takes a toll on you and it's normal. We're not meant to be far away from the people that we love. So get a counselor if you are struggling to deal with a long distance relationship mentally. It's totally okay. I am a very family oriented person. When you're in a long distance relationship with your partner, sometimes it can be hard to form a really close bond with your partner's family and vice versa, your partner with your family. Seeing that, you know, we would travel to see each other every like 6 months or more, we would go even more time, it's hard to create those really close relationships with la suegra, you know, with this mother-in-law, father-in-law, and vice versa. It doesn't mean that they don't love you and that you don't love them. It's just, it's not the same as being able to go to their house on weekends and just chill with their mom or dad, or go out to dinner with them frequently. It's not the same thing. So have to consider that. Keeping that in mind, if you do want to have a good relationship with each other's family members, you have to be good about, you know, communicating with them too, calling them, asking them how they're doing, asking them about their day, because it's very easy to just, you know, not talk to them because they're far away, and, you know, you have to make an extra effort. So those, in my opinion, are the cons of a long distance relationship. So now let's get into the pros. In my case, a pro in our long distance relationship was getting to travel. Thanks to my long distance relationship with Elu in Spain, we got to travel to so many places. We got to, sometimes we would meet up in Mexico. That was one of our places where we met up during COVID. So we got to go there a couple times, and that was amazing. I went abroad for an entire year in Spain, and because of that, we got to travel to so many surrounding countries. This long distance relationship with Elu, it was such a blessing because it allowed me, well, us to travel and see so many beautiful places together and make incredible memories. So you end up forming really great communication. In a long distance relationship, communication is key. If you guys don't have good communication skills, you better start working on it, honey, because it's absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. It's how you guys are gonna trust each other. It's how you're gonna be involved in each other's lives. It's everything. Communication is absolutely everything. The level of trust that Edu and I developed throughout those years is insane. And I also think this has a lot to do with just how the other person treats you and how the other person makes you feel. He never made me feel like I couldn't trust him. He never made me feel like he was, you know, doing something behind my back. He would communicate every single thing with me. I'm so thankful I never felt jealous or scared or worried that he was gonna go and do something that he wasn't supposed to. And I believe I did the same with him. If I was gonna go out with whomever, he always knew. So trust. Really, really, really have to make sure you guys trust each other, because if there's no trust, you're gonna be absolutely miserable. You're gonna be scared, nervous, you're gonna be crying, you're gonna be just anxious all the time, wondering, what is he doing? What is he doing? So trust is so, so important. I can't even emphasize how important trust is. I mean, I know trust is important in every single relationship, but let me tell you, in a long distance relationship, you have to. Another pro is the future plans that you make with each other are, in my opinion, so much more exciting because it's something that you both get to mark in your calendar, something you both get to look forward to, something you both get to like hang on to and think about every single day. Like, for example, if you have a little trip plan, like, okay, have a little countdown, or oh, you get to plan, you know, when you're gonna see each other next. And that's another thing that in order to survive, you guys have to have like a plan in place of when you're gonna see each other. So the next pro is, you know, your relationship is not solely built on the physical aspect of a relationship. And that to me is super, super important. So there's that to consider. Because of the long distance, you learn to keep yourself busy. You learn to manage your time. You learn to have your priorities straight. You learn to together to set times of like, okay, this time is reserved for us. This time is reserved for school, work, me time, whatever. So in my opinion, I think a long distance relationship really does help you manage your time. So yes, guys, those were the pros and cons in my opinion. I hope this helps. I hope that if you are considering getting into a long distance relationship, or if you are in a long distance relationship and you're going through a rough patch, I just want to encourage you, like remind you that it's okay to be sad. Just don't let it take over your life. Make sure you have things that keep you busy. Make sure you have a great support system. Love each other, care for each other, choose each other every single day. And it's gonna work out. You will see that before you know it, if you guys have a plan in place for you guys to cut the distance, it's gonna happen. You guys can have a date in mind, and if it doesn't happen that date, it can shake things up. But if you guys really love each other and you want this to work, you just keep moving, push past that obstacle, put another date in mind, set another plan, put God first, and it'll work out. But in my opinion, yes, a long distance relationship is worth it. Like every single relationship has its pros and cons. You just have to decide if you're willing to deal with the obstacles that long distance relationship brings. But they do work. You just have to choose this relationship every single day, every single morning. So that's my whole little spiel, guys, on long distance relationships. Hope you guys have a good day. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys next time.